Today we're looking at Erina from Shokugeki no Souma, aka Food Wars. I'd have to say that Erina is probably my favourite girl in the show, and that is saying something because all of the girls in the series are absolutely incredible. So let's find out if this figure is worthy of the one and only Erina-sama. It seems to me that Good Smile Company have put some effort into this box. I don't think it's anything revolutionary, the packaging itself is about as standard as you can get, but they've tried to give it a regal flair with a pattern and some nice gold text. It's quite nice. So some of you may actually recall that this figure is based on the Eggs Benedict scene from episode 13 of the series. As far as the concept for this figure goes, it's perfect, because not only is it based off the scene from the show, but it encompasses everything about Erina. For some reason they've changed the dark purple on her outfit to a red, but I kind of like it a bit more, to be honest. You'll probably notice first of all that Erina sits atop a base with a red carpet-like material. Its purpose, as far as I can tell, is only to elevate Erina, but if you don't want the base and you just want Erina with the throne, then that's totally an option. And I'm not sure if it's technically part of the base or technically part of the figure, but then you have the throne itself on which Erina reigns supreme. It's nicely detailed with some lovely engravings, and you can even see the buttons on the cushion. Speaking of the cushion, it looks really soft, but it's actually quite hard. Even though it would have been great if GSC used a softer material, I can imagine that it would up the price quite a bit, so I applaud them for finding a nice compromise. Something that looks good, but is also affordable. Erina herself is absolutely flawless. I've noticed that with the last few Good Smile Company figures I've received, that the skin tone has been ever so slightly off, just not quite up to their usual standards. But that's certainly not the case here. It's a beautiful, natural colour, and it looks very smooth. And her outfit complements the rest of the figure. Or does the rest of the figure complement her outfit? I'm not quite sure, to be honest, but either way, all the aspects come together beautifully. I particularly like the creases in the dress and the various bits of jewellery, such as the necklace and the crown, not to mention you can see her belly button through her clothing. And they've nailed her hair. The colour in particular, I think there was a real risk that they could have made it a bit too orange, but Erina's hair is more of a gorgeous, almost like a honey blonde. And words cannot even begin to describe how perfect her facial expression is. She has this real conceited, superior, I'm royalty, you're peasant look. It's totally hot and captures her character perfectly. And not to mention with those purple, gorgeous eyes of hers that her gaze is all the more mesmerising. It also adds a splash of a different colour because as much as I do love this figure, I will admit that there's not really much in the way of colours other than red, gold and white. Oh, and speaking of hot, those are some fine legs, and that is some gobsmacking cleavage. And those curves, man. Interestingly, there's an additional part to this figure, some sort of disembodied translucent hand. I like what they were going for, and it does add a little bit of extra flair to a fairly plain figure, but it does look a little strange. Still, it is optional, so I'm certainly not going to fault them. Overall, I think the big danger with this figure, or any figure that goes for a regal, luxury, or premium look and feel, is that if they're not done well, then the final product just kind of feels cheap. Thankfully, this is a very competent and solid effort from Good Smile Company. I mean, sure, like in terms of pose and all that, it's not the most dynamic figure out there, so I mean, you could argue that it is lacking a little bit in the wow factor as far as that's concerned, but I think everything else kinda makes up for it. To put it simply, I think that Good Smile Company absolutely nailed this figure, and I see no reason not to recommend it. I would say that this is the figure that Erina deserves, and that's pretty much the highest praise I can give it. Thanks for watching, have a great day, and happy collecting. Bye-bye.